Greetings and welcome, students. This is Ambika Singh, your educator, and we are doing our last few topics for our term 2 prep for literature. And we are going to be discussing some questions from Should Wizard Hit Mommy, which is a story from Vistas in your syllabus. And let's take a look at the questions. And as I always say, these are just some questions from the web. They are not all of the questions. You can be asked several other kind of questions. The only thing that you can do to prepare for the exam is to read, revise, and try to remember things. Claire complains of Jack's coming down. She is angry about Jack's coming down. She's angry. She's not angry about Jack's coming down. She's angry about something in Jack's coming down. A very odd kind of a question. Was she angry? You remember who was Claire? Do you remember it? Claire was Jack's wife in the story, who did not have much role in the story until towards the end. Like, she was mentioned in the story, but she did not come as a character in front of us in her, as herself until the end, towards the end of the story. So she was angry because Jack had delayed coming down. He was late in coming down to do what? To help her paint the living room woodwork. If everything that I'm saying seems like things that you don't know, the important part would be to read the story first. Take a look at the story and take a look at the questions. To take a look at the video lecture that I have, and then come and see the lecture for MCQs. Because if you attempt MCQs directly, it's not going to help. I know a lot of people who do that. They think that just attempting questions is preparing for the exam. It is nice if you know the stories very well. It is nice if you know the poetry very well. Without that knowledge, coming to MCQs is of no use. So you should know who Claire is. You should know what was her temperament. You should know why she was complaining. So she was complaining, but because there was a delay in her husband's coming down to help her paint the living room woodwork. She had not waited for him. She had waited for him, but then she didn't wait any longer. She started the work herself. And why was it, like, if this was the question, why was it not appropriate for Claire to move heavy furniture? What would be your answer? It was not appropriate for Claire to move the heavy furniture because of the simple reason she was expecting their third child. They already had 2 children. She was expecting their third child, and it was not good for her to be lifting heavy furniture. But even then, her husband was busy telling the story, busy narrating a story to his daughter, arguing with his daughter, but he had not come down to help Claire. So D would be the answer, delay. What is Joe a short form for? The daughter, the little girl in the story, who's one of the main characters in the story, she is called Joe, but her full name was not Joe, it was something else. Joe was a shortened form of what name? John, Joe, Joanne, Jane, Joanne. Joanne, C. Option C is the answer. Joe wanted in the story to the next day. What did she want? What was Joe's demand of the story? She wanted the skunk to smell of roses. She wanted the skunk's mommy to relent. She wanted the wizard to hit mommy, the animals to love skunk. If you know the story, you would know that Joe only wanted the skunk, Roger skunk, to retain the smell of roses. What would be her reason for, such an expectation, such a demand of the story? Because she thought that he was the hero of her story, and it was important for the hero to look good, to smell good, to have friends, for everybody to like him. So for everybody to like him, it was important that he smelled good. So she did not like her father's ending to the story. She preferred her own version of the story where the creature had a problem, the problem was solved, and there was a happy ending. So A would be the answer, the skunk to smell of roses. She wanted him to smell good. What word does Joe mispronounce as Evangeladi? In the story, she mispronounces a word, a long word. Sometimes children cannot pronounce long words, whether it be in Hindi, English, they cannot pronounce very long words. So they make their own versions of the same word. She pronounced one word as Evangeladi. What was the exact word? Evening, eventually, evasive, elatedly. The answer would be B, eventually. Mommy skunk was angry with the wizard, pleased with the wizard, indifferent with the wizard, civil with the wizard. With the wizard, the magician, what was Mommy skunk's reaction to what he did? Mommy was definitely very angry at the wizard. But why exactly? Because he had made her son smell of roses and she wanted him to smell like a skunk and not smell of something like roses. So she was angry. A. What did Mommy skunk call the smell of roses? When her son reached home, when this baby skunk reached home smelling of roses, what was the mother's immediate reaction? Like, in what way did she comment on the smell that he was carrying? She said, "Oh, you smell of roses. That's awful." So awful is the word that she used. Awful is the exact word. So the answer would be D, awful. What did Jack mistakenly call Roger skunk? There was a point of time in the story where the father, Joe's father, said some other name for the woodland creature, the main hero of the story, Roger skunk. By mistake, he said Roger rabbit, Roger fish, Roger squirrel, Roger monkey. What did he say instead of Roger skunk? He said Roger fish by mistake. And even though it was a mistake, Joe was constantly pointing it out and she was saying, "No, you said Roger fish, correct that mistake." And the father then said, "Okay, very stupid of your old daddy. It was Roger skunk, not Roger fish." What did Roger skunk want to smell like? He wanted to smell like roses, not lilies, lavender or jasmine, which are the other options here. Jack felt like being an old man suited him, being an owl suited him, a skunk suited him, a kid. What is, like, see, they are asking questions. If these are the kind of questions you are going to be asked in the exam, you would notice that this is very particular. There is a mention in the story of, the narrator says Jack really liked the part of the old man in the story. So when he scrunched up his face and created the voice of an old man, he really enjoyed himself. So being an old man suited him. He really liked playing the part of the old man. What is a crick? Vocab. A hill, a little river, a park, a dress. A little river. Jack's wife is called what? The first question said that to us. The name of Jack's wife in the story is Claire, option B. Roger skunk's smell makes other woodland creatures run away. So woodland is the answer. Very specific again. What creatures ran away when Roger skunk approached them? So because of his smell, because of the smell of the skunk, all of the other woodland creatures would run away. When the problem is solved, something is demanded by the wizard. The pattern of their story, the usual story, is that the Roger creature, whether it is squirrel, monkey, chipmunk, fish, whatever is the Roger creature, whatever kind of Roger creature that is, he would have a problem. He would go to the wizard and the magician would solve the problem, always demanding a number of pennies. There would be some demand of fee. So option would be fee, not happiness, nothing and food. Those are not the correct answers. The correct answer is fee. The skunk is advised to go to the, what is the advice given to the skunk? He is advised by the owl to go to the wizard. But who advises the The skunk is advised to go to the wizard, but the owl is the one who gives that advice. Jack narrates the story in the evening, and for very specific question again, Jack narrates the story in the evenings. So the storytelling sessions were either in the evenings or during times when it was the weekend, it was the Saturday naps when she was sleeping in the day. So B would be the answer. What's Joe's brother called in the story? Now, if you cannot remember the name of the child, the other child who has no role in the story, it's sad because they might ask you a question so direct, so particular. So, what was the name of that little baby who was sleeping there? The little baby was called Bobby. B. Should Wizard Hit Mommy is what kind of a story? Is it a story within a story? Is it digression? Is it metaphor, or is it a moral story? Very clearly, it is a story within a story. It's a story. It's a fictional thing, but it has a story inside of it also. So to us, it is the story of Jack and Joe, the father and daughter and their family, but it is also the story of Roger Skunk and his mom and his, and the wizard and everything else. So it's a story within a story. Why did Roger want to change his smell? But why exactly would he want to change his smell? Because no one liked him, because none was ready to play with him, he smelled very bad and it made people run away, or all of the above. I think option A is quite correct. No one liked him because of his smell. No one played with him because of his smell. He smelled bad and it made people run away. So all of the options here are correct, which is why D would be the answer, all of the above. Why does Joe want her father to tell her story in a different way? Why would Joe prefer an ending completely different than what her father was choosing for the story? She wanted to give the story a sad ending, to understand the story better, to complete the story, to give the story a happy ending. D would be the answer. Joe wanted a happy ending, a conventional happy ending, where there is a hero, the hero has a problem, and the problem is solved with the magician's help, and everyone is happy. The hero smells good in the end. That is a child's perspective. So Joe's expectation of the story was that the person, the creature or woodland creature should smell of roses. So she wanted a happy ending for the story. Why did Roger visit the wizard? Roger visited the wizard for the chief reason that he wanted to get rid of his smell. He wanted to seek advice to get rid of the foul smell. So option D would be the answer. What part of the story did Jack himself enjoy the most? We've discussed it just a few moments ago. What was that one part of the story where he became extremely enthusiastic? When he was playing the wizard, when he was playing the old man, he really enjoyed himself. So it is not when the mother hits the wizard. It is not when Roger finds pennies from the magic well. It is when at the wizard's house, Roger imitates wizard's voice. That was the part he really enjoyed playing. What advice did the wise old owl give to Roger's skunk? To visit his friends, to think deeply, to consult his mother, to consult the wizard. The wise old owl advised Roger's skunk to go to the wizard to get a solution for his problem. How does Joe want the wizard to behave with Roger's mother? When, in Jack's narration, the wizard gets hit by the mother and he's forced to change the smell, Roger Skunk's smell, back to what he smelled like, to his original smell. But Joe did not want it. Joe wanted something completely reversed. She wanted the wizard to hit mommy and Roger Skunk to retain the smell of roses. So she wants the wizard to hit the mommy. Should wizard hit mommy? So according to Joe, wizard should be hitting mommy back and not change the smell of Roger Skunk, because the smell of roses is better than the smell of a skunk. Why does Roger's mother not want him to smell like a rose? But if it is a good smell, if the smell of roses is so good, why would Roger Skunk's mother not be in favor of it? Because she didn't like it? Because she's allergic to it? She has a rose smell allergy? Because he's a skunk and he should smell like one, or none? C, option C would be the correct answer. because his mother believes in originality, in being your authentic self. So she's talking like a parent that you should be yourself. You should have the smell that a skunk is supposed to have, and not base your life's decisions on what other people are liking or disliking. So she did not want him to smell like roses, but wanted him to smell like a skunk. How did the wizard help Roger Skunk? By using his magic wand, by chanting, by helping him get rid of the foul smell, all of the above. All of the above. Of course, he used the magic wand. He chanted also, abracadabra, hocus poo, Roger Skunk, how do you do? So that was the entire chant. And also, in totality, he was able to get rid of his foul smell. So all of the above would be the answer. Who is the author of the story? A late question, I guess. It should have been asked in the beginning. John Updike, John Donne, William Blake, John Williams. A. John Updike. Why did Jack start finding the storytelling ritual like a chore, like it became like a household work to him, like something that he had to do? It became like a chore. It started feeling like work. It started becoming a burden. Storytelling, something enjoyable between the parent and child, has become like a chore because the basic purpose of storytelling is that the child falls asleep. So earlier Jo would fall asleep very easily. Now she's grown up, she's a 4-year-old, and she does not fall asleep that easily. So the whole purpose, it defeats the whole purpose of storytelling. So it became a routine to make Jo sleep because it was becoming interesting day by day. Friends were liking it, none. It became a routine to make Jo sleep. It was becoming a, it was becoming a burden to put her to bed, because now she can go on awake longer than expected. So you have to stretch the story. If you have to constantly keep stretching the story, she's arguing, she's constantly fighting. So it completely defeats the purpose of storytelling to the child. What is one of the main themes of the story? Parents and their children can have opposite worldviews. Mothers should not interfere in their children's affairs. Mothers are cruel. Mothers are cute. Children are cute and right. See, the last two you can just cross, because mothers are cruel. No. Children are cute and right. Children are cute, but they're not right all the time. Parents and the children can have opposite worldviews is one of the major themes of this story. So option A. That's it. We are done with the questions of should wizard hit mommy MCQs, but we are really not done. We cannot cover up everything in a short MCQ session. What I want you to do is to read more extensively, read more voraciously, all of the chapters, all of the stories and poems that are there, and try to think of all the probable questions that can be asked. I know a lot of it would be based on memory, but some of it would also be based on interpretation, conclusion, understanding, vocabulary. So good luck to you. See you in the next class. Thank you.